What's up, creepers and geekers? Christy Atari Creep. How's everyone doing today? Happy motherfucking Halloween to each and every one of you. And I hope whatever you're doing today is safe. I hope you're having safe, but also having such a fantastic time, guys. I got a cold or something. I am so sorry. I have to get this done though. So we're gonna be watching the original Halloween 2. We watched Halloween a couple of Halloweens ago. And I think I recorded the commentary and then did this as a premiere, and we all did it together, and that was fun. I don't have time to do that again this year, so we're just going to watch the movie together. And how I like to do this is you're not going to see it on the screen. You're going to have to get your own copy together and pop it in. I'm just watching a DVD, an old school widescreen DVD. It has the mask on the cover in kind of a yin-yang black and white kind of deal. But you can get yours set up, pause now, and I'll tell you when I'm about to hit play. Alright, let me get everything together here. Alright, so fuck it. Let's not play around. I'm going to hit play in 3, 2, 1, and I'll mention what I see on the screen here for a few seconds, just so you know we're somewhat synced up. The stars for the Universal logo just popped up. It's coming into fuck us. It's coming into fuck us. God damn, excuse me. Oh, I got that loud. Holy hell, that just blasted my ears out. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. A lot of people puke on this song. Enter Sandman. Yeah, Metallica was only around back then, right? Actually, they kind of were, weren't they? This came out in 81, I believe. 81 or 82. But I think it's creepy. I think it gives it kind of a bizarre vibe to it. And Rosenthal, the guy, I think his name was Rick Rosenthal, the guy who directed this one. I think he did an amazing job syncing the two up. You could literally, and I'm sure there's edits out there where you can watch it as one piece. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool what he was able to do. So we're just sitting here through a fucking recap. Old school. A Friday the 13th style, if you will. This is a great shot. I don't know how he sat up that straight. Even when I didn't have a gun, I couldn't do that. It's all in the stomach muscles, Mike, I guess. Oh, and how could we not watch 2 without talking about the synth score? The original, if there's one thing this movie has that the other one doesn't, well, okay, let me rephrase that. What really stands out in this one is the music. It gives it its own vibe, you know? And a lot of people don't like it as much as the original, and don't get me wrong, the original score is amazing, but I think they use it better in this one. And again, my opinion, I'm not trying to convince you of anything, so... And I dig the synth version. You know, it lets you know we're not going to watch more of the same, even though we're pretty much going to watch more of the same. Well, not really, actually, come to think of it. Because this one came out after the Friday the 13th bloody slasher craze started. You know, these guys are suspense. There's hardly any blood in the original. It's all suspense and mood. You know, Carpenter spent a lot of the money on the budget in the first one, on the look of the film, which a lot of these low-budget flicks didn't do. Dude just walks up a ramp. They didn't even fucking hide it. That was the boogeyman, wasn't it? Absolutely, woman. As a matter of fact, it was. Oh, hopefully I'm sunk up with you and you just got the chills. Because I get the chills whenever that happens. I'm getting all choked up, too. So, as a kid, I used to want to listen to these, the intro themes and stuff all the time. So I'd have like a little tape recorder, and I'd be there waiting with my breath held. I don't know why. And I always had the music starting right... not here. Or the recording, rather, not the music. Right there. At that one little low sting there, after he gets the blood on his hand. Again, I don't know how sunk up we are. But he just discovered the blood on his hand. He's walking around like, what the fuck? Where is this cat? And the dude's coming out of his house. I'll be trick-or-treated to death. You know, that guy. Call the police! I shot him 6 times. You don't know what death is, motherfucker. The next incarnation of Loomis has to be fucking Samuel L. Jackson, now that I said that. But this synth score, love it. Love it. And I don't know if you noticed, but before the Mustafa Akkad credit comes up, there's like a... It's almost like they cut the music for, you know, and then, I don't know, punched it back in. There's like this little... John Carpenter, when he says, I work fast and cheap, his work is amazing, but you could definitely tell he's doing it real quick and just trying to get it the fuck out the door. Especially with the original Halloween theme. If you really listen, there's a couple of spots where he kind of skips a little. He kind of, I don't know what you call it. It's not he's hitting the wrong note. But there's like this little hiccup. How about just call it a hiccup? I don't know. So we're here with the pumpkin. You know, let me full screen this bitch. I don't care what OBS is doing. If I find out it didn't record later on, then you're screwed. You don't get to watch the movie. With me, anyway. You can watch the movie all day long. You just won't know I watched it and recorded it for you. Pamela Susan Shoop. I knew a chick named Shoop. We're not friends on Facebook anymore. I must have offended her. Well, the dude that she was getting married to didn't want her friends with dudes anymore. I don't know. I'd known her for years. This guy comes into her life. Isn't it fucked up how that happens? You know someone like your whole life, and then someone new comes into their life, and all of a sudden everyone's pieces of shit? I don't understand how that happens. But Leo Rossi, man. Legendary dude. Came up with his own little dirty limerick there. To Amazing Grace of all fucking things. We'll get there, we'll get there. Skip Skulnick. That's a cool name. I'm going to try to lean away from you when I cough. John Carpenter and Alan Holworth this time. Alan seems to be like the yin to John's yang. They especially when it comes to synth scores. Their work on Christine alone is amazing. But John comes up with the amazing melodies, and it seems like Howie just fills it. Fills it up with stuff, you know? Dean Cundy. That dude went off to do a lot of big things after these Halloween flicks, you know? Ernie Blas. He's a Boston cat. He's a Boston cat. He made his bones producing videos for the local driving circuit, like movies like Don't Look in the Basement and shit like that. I don't know if he's part of that one, but you get the idea. Cheap, cheesy exploitation. Yeah, Rick Rosenthal. That was the director's name. Good. All right, so now we're back in Haddonfield. This right here, this is all new stuff, and you can't tell. You can't tell that it's not 1978. Well, probably 76, 77 when they were making the movie, but it looks exactly the same. Kids in the background. That's the sound of Halloween. Honestly. Like almost like a dead silence in the air because everything's calm, but you have kids in the background somewhere. Trading candy or whatever. Defacing property with spray, what do you call it? Shaving cream. Here we go. I shot him 6 times! You know what? When I was a kid growing up watching these, I never looked at Loomis as a fucking lunatic. And I saw an interview with Rob Zombie before he was even fucking thought of to do the remake. And he was saying, you know, Loomis almost seemed a little crazier than Mike, and it's true. Mike's not crazy, he just kills. He's a sociopath. He just walks around and does something. There's nothing crazy about him aside from the violence, you know? You get what I mean. There's got to be something wrong with you if you walk around and do something like this. But he doesn't seem mental. He seems very calculated, very cunning. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's just calm and cool. And he just does what he does. No rhyme, no reason. And that's what makes it fucking scary. I know everyone says that, but one of the greatest movies of all time right there. Night of the Living Dead. You also don't have to pay to use it. We did that movie on my Instagram account live when George Romero died. I watched it live with you guys. Mayonnaise and mustard or a ham and cheese sandwich. You know what? That's good shit. He is at lodge. He's right behind that chick, Mrs. Elrod. I went to a horror convention in 2004. I talk about it all the time. It's the only one I've ever really been to. And it pretty much had almost a whole cast of Day of the Dead, but there was a couple of Night of the Living Dead casts there too. It was really fun just hanging out and talking. I didn't get a lot of, I didn't have a lot of money to pay for autographs and shit, and there was hardly anyone there, so it turned out to be just like a hangout situation. I got to play guitar with a couple of the horror celebs. Ari Lehman, he got on the piano. And Reggie from the Phantasm series had a couple of guitars with him, inexplicably. I mean, I knew he would at least have one. But it was actually a pretty good time, even though they were all miserable. He's just standing there. So I know everyone's going to sit there saying Nick Castle's the best shape, his walk and everything. But this cat here, Dick Warlock, he did an amazing job. In fact, I find him to be a little more... He's more menacing on oh no, here comes a big scary guy. He's not really that big, but you know what I mean. Whereas Michael Myers had more of a mystic aura to him, Don't get me wrong. If I turned around and I saw Michael Myers in my living room coming at me with a large fucking knife, I'm going to be terrified. Either way. But there was just something about part 2. I keep wanting to call him Jason. And I'm probably going to, so don't correct me. But something about Michael Myers in this one. There was just something about it, how stiff he was. And so, in part 1, Nick Castle, his shoulders were a little bit more loose. And he had this kind of sway to his walk. Kind of like, walking like a penguin. New England people will know what that is. But it seems like Dick Warlock just has this almost calculating robotic, which is great because he plays robots in Halloween 3. Which we will get to, and I love that movie. I just personally think he's awesome. He's amazing. He did a really great job, and I think they're equal. But I think Warlock's a little scarier. If I were to see the two of them walking at me, I would definitely focus on Warlock, I'll tell you that. Now, the mask situation, it's literally the same exact mask. And his head kind of fills it out weird. Again, I like it better. And I think a lot of it has to do with this. And it's not because I think it's a better looking mask or anything. It's the same fucking thing. His head's just bigger. When I was a kid, for some reason, around Halloween time, 2 and 3 played the most. I don't know why. Throughout this one specific time period around between like 84 and I guess when Halloween 4 started coming out. For some reason around here, 2 and 3 were the only ones that were playing non-stop throughout the season, And I don't think I saw part 1 until maybe a couple of Halloweens into knowing that these existed. I was a young kid still, but that perfect age for this kind of thing back then anyway. That 8, 9, 10 years old, Today, kids couldn't handle it, I don't think, but maybe that's why we're so fucked up, Gen X. But long story short, they only played these 2, so I have a lot more nostalgia for 2 and 3 than I do the first one. I revere number one as the cinematic genius it is. Don't get me wrong. And by all stretches of the imagination and all accounts, the original Halloween is the tops and belongs in the top 3 of all, maybe top 5 of all horror films of all time. It's up there. And I don't know if I'd put Halloween 2 in that. It would definitely be in the top 100. But I just have more nostalgia feelings for part 2, and especially 3. I never thought of that whole, no Michael Myers. It didn't really bother me. It didn't confuse me. I was like, oh, okay. But I got into the story, and yeah, we definitely got to get to Halloween 3 eventually. But, yeah, I don't know. I just like 2 and 3 so much more than 1 for nostalgia reasons, But I always see myself going to the original first. So, this kid with the fucking razor blade, right? So get this. I knew it was a razor blade growing up my whole life, but I always had shitty copies of the movie. When he drops it here, and then you see a close-up of his mouth, and you can see the razor blade. For some reason, it never looked like a razor blade to me. It always looked like this big spit bubble. I'm like, it bothered me. Pop that fucking thing. Pop that spit bubble. But then DVD transfers came out, and Laserdiscs, and Blu-rays, and... As a matter of fact, I went and saw the original Halloween at the theaters a handful of years back, almost a decade now. First time I ever saw it on a big screen. And I was amazed by how much you don't see at home. Unless you get a giant TV, But... Here's a nice fun connection if you don't know it. Nick Castle played the Shape in the first one, and this kid Jimmy with the curly hair actually starred in one of Nick Castle's movies. Nick Castle went on to be a, not him, that's Rossi, the dude at the feet. He's funny. But the kid with the curly hair, I can never remember the actor's name, but he plays the main star in The Last Starfighter. Amazing movie. As a matter of fact, I just saw on Facebook that someone just made a model of that ship. It looks great. Look at the doctor's drunk. Definitely a sign of the times. Laurie Strode. The fucking doctor's all gacked out. Wow! I'm gonna operate! Which one's the spleen? Imagine taking blood like that now. I don't know if they ever did they? Some of you cats are older than me. I was born in 75. I've never had blood taken that way. It's just a plunge syringe. God, the early 2000s when all like the prop trading was big in the forums. The EMT jackets were real popular. Real popular. I bought the patches, the Haddonfield Memorial patches. I don't know where they are now. I was still married and had a house. It was before the big divorce where I lost fucking everything. And not because she took it all from like the divorce itself. She emptied out the storage unit. She thought I was going to let it go and have everything go away to be a dick. But I had a lot of I was making like Freddy gloves back then. I had tons of those in process and I don't know. You let them out. Now look at the lighting in this shot. Loomis is reloading. There's no reason for light to be on him, but of course it's a movie, so we got to see his fucking face. But they went so far as to not light Sheriff Brackett with a white light. They used the green one to simulate the dashboard light. Nice little touches like that, They could have just lit up the whole fucking car. You couldn't have shot him 6 times. This isn't a man! Yeah, see, I think Loomis just has bloodlust. All right, so this whole thing with Tommy Tramer, Ben Tramer, Tommy, oh, fucking Tommy, what's his name? Ben Tramer. Always bothered me that he had that sway. They're yelling at him to stop, and he's just running. I don't think there should be justice for Tramer. I think he got what he got. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. That van, that's a Dodge A100. That is my dream vehicle next to Christine. I can't tell you how many close I've been to actually buying one. But if I could have any van on the planet, it would definitely be that one. With a little bit of modern touches, you know. It would definitely have to have some kind of an air conditioning system for cooling hot air, you know. Something on the roof or something, I don't know. I can't imagine there'd be much room underneath it. There's really no dash, really. The engine's to the right of you. One of them's Annie, bro. He literally just threw him. He threw him. He threw the sheriff away from him. He's like, get in the car. Loomis not even in the car. His leg just got dragged. So another thing, even when I was a kid, that made me say this had to have been shot in California. And it's not the palm trees or any of that. It's a 57 Chevy with no fucking rust whatsoever, just being used as a daily driver. Period. I know it can exist. But in 1981, 2, 3, every 57 Chevy I saw that was not at a car show was rotted out at the bottom of the rocker, and the quarter panels would have rot in the top of them because of all the salt that would sling upwards. Quarter panels, fuck, man. Creeper. I never thought of this as creepy either when I was a kid. But now that I'm an adult, it's like, Jimmy, what the fuck are you doing, bro? Don't touch her. If I was Laura, I'd have been like, get the fuck out of here before I stab you in the nuts. Crack the bone, biatch. Come on, Jimmy. He thinks he's slick. Look at him. Got a big smile on his face. He's like, can I get a blowjob? And some coke? Want to do some coke and blow me? Shoot a line off the top of my shaft? Well, yeah, he's got a call. He's leaving. Believed to have burned to death. Oh, that's right, the kid in the car. I'm like, wait a minute, that hasn't happened yet. Look at Dana Carvey. That's Dana Carvey, right? I can't remember who that is. I just know it's some really cool. Hey, he became something later on. Pretty sure it's Dana Carvey. Not now. It's touches like this, you know? The movie could have went full slasher. It takes its time. It takes its time to show a little fucking humanity in the chaos, you know? That's fucking horrific. Can you imagine having to do that to your own child? And that Casio watch, that's something special. There's an assistant manager at my work, fucking wicked young kid. I think she was born in 2000. She's got a Casio watch like that. It's pretty cool. The sheriff's deputy didn't even wait for the answer. He just started walking. Loomis, dude, you know him. You know that wasn't as tall as he was. Remotely human. Where do you think they took the body? They took it to the local fucking park. He's on the swings right now, cooling off. Where the fuck do you think they took the body? Cocksucker. Loomis is stupid. That plaza right there has been using a ton of flicks. I believe Pee-wee's Big Adventure was filmed in there too. The scene where the bike actually got stolen when he goes to the magic shop and all that crap. He's in Russellville. I know I did. If it's only a 5-minute drive to the house and then a 5-minute drive to the hospital, that chick could have fucking walked. Inconsiderate cunt. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. The Datsun, man. Car guys, tell me something. Why'd they stop calling it Datsun and calling it, was it Nissan? Did the Nissan brand buy Datsun and just adopt it? Or did they change their name? Tell me in the comments below, because I really want to know. Music's amazing. So I'm playing with fire here. Our internet's down, okay? Our internet's down. Our phone and TV still work. But for some reason, I don't know. So we got a new router on Saturday, which it was supposed to come with a guy to help out. But we set it all up and still no Wi-Fi. So they're like, oh, you need upgrades. But we can't set up a ticket for that because this ticket's still outstanding. And I'm like, I know it is because it's not resolved yet, stupid. Like, nope, this one has to end before we can open up another ticket. So I got to wait for someone to call me today. They said they were going to call around 1. It's 12:22 now. So I probably gave this video a death sentence because I really don't feel like watching it a second time. But, oh, I love this sting. Boom. That music's awesome. So, I mean, it is what it is. But they're going to call and be like, okay, let's set you up an appointment. How fucking stupid is that? If you work for Verizon, let me know why that's so stupid. It's funny, we called them. We went through all kinds of diagnostics with them, which is fine, you know. Using a home phone and a cell phone to show it was actually kind of cool. I've never done anything like that. But they looked at everything through and would circle, you know, what is this doing? You know, can you touch this or whatever through the cell phone. It was pretty neat. And then they said that we'll send you a guy tomorrow. And then they never came, so we called them up and said, hey, no one showed up except for a box, and we got the thing, and it's doing the same thing. So my lady went through the exact same process just to find out that we had to wait until today, which is fine. I could live without internet. Our cell phones are through a different carrier than Verizon, so we still have our cell phone networks should we have to use the internets. The ladies have been losing their minds, but you know, it is what it is. If it takes a couple of days, it takes a couple of days. I was hoping to stream last night and on Halloween. Last night being Sunday, the Sunday before Halloween of this year. I don't know. So if they fucking call, then you'll never know this video existed. Jolie's full of shit. Sorry, I guess I just fuck up all the time. I love Bud. The pineapple in the background, to the left of Johnny, Jimmy, Brian, whatever his name is, Jimmy. Is a nice touch for Halloween. There was a ceramic pineapple skull that was being sold at like Home Goods and shit. I really wanted it, but I never went out and got it. Here we go. Amazing Grace, come sit on my face. Don't make me cry. I need your pie. And for that, Bud was stamped in immortality. Rule number 1. Don't fuck with patients. I'd listen to Bud. No lie, I'm going through my email on my phone. CVS is like, Halloween season is here. It's fucking tomorrow, nitwit. You know, and I'm gonna play with your expectations here a little bit. Subvert it. I'm not a big fan of Halloween, believe it or not. I like the whole leading up to it. I like the season of Halloween because Halloween itself means it's over. After today, well, for you, tomorrow, it's over. You know, I like everything leading up to it. However, I did not do anything Halloweeny this year. I haven't done anything fall. We usually do corn mazes. We go up to this place called Canby Lake Park for Scream Fest or whatever the fuck they call it. You know, they usually have 400 or 500 attractions. Good times, you know. Apple cider, which I can still have. You know, apple cider I think is a really good Thanksgiving treat beverage as well. But cider donuts. There's a place, Morini Farms. I don't know if they make them or buy them or whatever, but they're great. They're one of the better ones around here. So let me ask you this, anybody who lived in a smaller town. See, the hospital I was born in, by the way, here in Melrose, the maternity ward is literally its own wing. It's on the second or third floor, I can't remember now. But it's like at the end of this real long hallway and its own like little section. Did you have a smaller hospital where like the maternity ward was just like a big room that was just on a floor with other patients' rooms? Or was that just, that's the space they had for the movie? Everyone used to complain about the hospital being so empty, and I could see that happening. I could see that happening in a smaller area. You know, maybe 1 or 2 supporting staff, a charge nurse, or a head nurse, I don't know what you call them. A couple security guards, whatever. A fucking wig, man. You can't watch this without talking about the wig. And that's it, we just did. Why me, she said. That sets it all up. John Carpenter, a 6-pack of fucking beer. A bad idea. I never liked the sister angle, even when it was just these 2 movies. And Halloween 3. I never liked the sister angle. I always thought it was cheap. Especially the little inserts of her going to see him and stuff like that. It's like, why wouldn't she remember that? She keeps hearing the name Michael Myers, you know, eventually. She should be like, oh shit, yeah, that was my brother. Why is my brother coming to kill me? Fucking always hated that. Always hated that angle. But the movie's great, so, like, look at this. And somebody had said, I'm really big right now and watching very timid women. Don't take this the wrong way. Maybe not timid. Maybe ones that are typically frightened easily by stuff like these movies. How about that? Watching these type of movies. And one lady didn't freak out by the gore or anything. She was actually elated by it. It turns out she likes the red stuff now, right? But whenever Michael Myers would walk on the screen, she would get all weirded out. And she finally was like, it's the lack of urgency that's creepy about him. And it's true. And then I got thinking, well, that became a stereotype. It became, kind of a cliche. How can they just walk and, Jason never really walked. People think Jason just kind of lumbers around. Part 2 and 3, he's running all over the fucking place. He even gets kicked in the balls at one point. In part 2. And Ginny kicks him right in the fucking nuggets. Voorhees has nards. I have a radio like that somewhere. I used to keep it. Alright, so I have this weird thing with walkie-talkies. When I was a kid, I had one walkie-talkie. I might have got it at like a yard sale or something, Because they didn't sell them in ones, I don't think. For the little kiddie ones. And I would turn it on every night and just listen. And see if I could pick up like space people or ghosts or another walkie-talkie. And then one day, just randomly, this kid Jason, who lived behind my house and 2 doors over to the left, came through on it. And we used to yap all the time like that. But almost my whole life, except for the last, I don't know, however many years, I just kept a walkie-talkie just kind of on, very low, and seeing if I could pick up anything. There was a construction site in front of one of the houses I owned, way back in the day. And they had left one of their little walkie-talkies on the heavy equipment, like on the fender of this big front loader or whatever the fuck it's called. And I took it home. It didn't last long because I didn't have the proper charger for it. But I waited. For the construction guys to come back, and I was just going to be like, blow me, and all that stuff. You're not working fast enough. Get to work. That kind of thing, actually. I think I was going to do that. But they didn't come back for like 2 weeks, and the battery died in the fucking thing. So I didn't get to play around with that. Put it back. Which is what I would have eventually done anyway, but I wouldn't have kept it. I would have just fucked with them for a few days, and then in the middle of the night, like a thief, a sneaky guy, I would have just put it back. But nobody was there. The battery died, so I put it back on the thing right where I found it. No one knew anything wiser. No one was any the wiser. Jesus Christ, I can't talk this morning. You're enjoying my first cup of coffee, by the way. Like I said, I've been sick, so I slept in a little bit today. Excuse me. I was always ashamed of this storeroom. Or the maintenance room, I guess you would call it. The office of the fixer-upper guys. But they all typically look this messy. Oh, look, he's got a little skull in the little boxes there to the left of the lamp. Never noticed that. Someone probably said, there's no decorations in here. What do we got? And it's like, we got this little skull. Put it on the box. That would have been great if it's not there in that shot. I guarantee you that would not be happening with those radios. You know what? Going back to radio, since this is a gaming channel, let's talk about cartridges and restoration. And it is related, believe it or not. So when I worked the prison yards, we used to have the antennas like that too. They unscrew in case they get broken or something. I don't know. But every now and again, we had to clean the connections for those, because what would happen is, as electricity would pass through the machine, the hand unit to the antenna, it would build up electronic carbon scoring, I guess you would call it, right? I always liked the way he flipped his lock off. Oh no, it must have been the other one he did it to. What would happen is your signal would be weaker, and you wouldn't receive as well. So like once a month we would clean that, and then we found out if you put this one specific kind of lube on it, it would still allow the connection to be whatever, and we didn't have to do it as much. But if you think about your cartridges, like we'll specifically talk about that piece of shit called the Nintendo Entertainment System. The reason our cartridges didn't work is mainly because of that, and the tray having to go in at an angle and then coming down. You would bend the pins. Okay, this is where he does the lock thing. Bloop, bye-bye. I always like that, and I do that now to this day. I swear to God. When you would put it in and out and blow on it and stuff like that, it wasn't blowing on it that would help. Maybe a little bit of moisture would help to, create a connection. But it was you pulling it in and out and scraping the connections. And what you're doing is you're rubbing off the... Oh, hold on. Here we go. Oh, that fucking noise, man. That noise. It wouldn't be so much that you had to blow the dust out of the cartridge, the little slot there. It's the connections needed cleaning. And one of the best things you can use is a pearl eraser, one of those pink ones that everyone knows. All pink. Don't get the blue, white, and pink or whatever it is. Erasers are literally made to erase carbon from a very delicate surface. I would always go there before alcohol. Yeah, you have to open up the thing, but so what? Do you want to play the damn game or not? Do you want your shit in good condition? So if it wasn't for my days working corrections, I would never have figured that out. And now I pass that on to you for like the 15th time. This guy just walks in with this look. The look on Loomis's face, man. Looks like a little kid who just got his way. He's all excited. He could have had a lollipop in his hand there, and it would have worked. Thank you, Daddy. I was just watching Halloween Kills last night, because I was debating on doing one of those movies, but nah. Let's continue with the regular for now anyway. I probably will not get into, Michael Myers Returns and all that. I don't like any of the other Halloween movies, not even H2O. I don't like them, and it's because the earlier ones had a dark grittiness to them. And they seem to, once the horror movies started becoming polished, fuck that noise. I want my, original slashers looking like this, but the reason I brought that up is because when they go back in time to recreate this area, I mean, they did it literally in a soundstage. Recreate it all the way down to the bushes and the trees and the grass. Neighborhood looked perfect. They even made everything look like it was California still, with the different styles of houses, Law enforcement doesn't use the word quiet. At least not in my day. Quiet was a bad luck word. As soon as you said, so how was the day shift? I was pretty quiet. Some shit would pop off. Donald Pleasance is amazing. Using that lighter. I mean, you can't see the lighter right now. But he's fidgeting with it in a nervous fashion. Because of that one quick glimpse of it. You know what he's doing with it. He can't see it. But his body posture and his language, and how he's speaking, his eyes, where he's looking. He's fidgeting with that lighter. It's not important. But it gives you an idea of what's going on in his head. You should have asked for a description of the mask. The cop sucks. Kids, come with me, please, real quick. That's what should have happened right there. You got a young man who's possibly dead. Those kids are now witnesses. The other thing about these, too, I've noticed, and like Friday the 13th likes to put like hot chicks in there, big tits, nice ass, who like to get naked. And in at least Halloween 1, 2, and 3, the women are pretty. They're nothing you don't want to look at, you know what I mean? Not to be, whatever. But they're just women, We're not focused on the booty or the boobie or like all the makeup and all that crap. We're focused on fearing for their lives. This chick, she's cute. But not overwhelmingly so that it's distracting. And that was the great thing about, both Carpenter and Rosenthal. And they didn't have to distract you with stupidity. It's all about serving the film, the art of it. We have an expression in the guitar world, how do you come up with... Ego gets kicked out of the way and you serve the song. Even if that means removing stuff that you felt was amazing. And that's the filmmaking, style of course, Carpenter. But in this case, Rick Rosenthal, because he did have to basically emulate Carpenter's style. Wide shots and the shadows and the lighting and the bada beep and the beep and the boop and the ba, You can't leave the kids. That comment was unfounded. No one's weirded out. She can't leave the kids. It's her fucking job, bro. Yeah, get some, bro. Oh, how sweet. She should have compromised and just been like, let's just fool around in here, bro. Leave the dress on. You know what I'm saying. Remove what's in the way. No, these fucks got to go down the hallway into a room that should be in the basement. Or should be in a different section of the hospital anyway. Again, maybe it's a small hospital. Doesn't look that small from the outside, but... Is Haddonfield, Illinois a really small town? God, the music. Nothing's going on. Just play the music, show empty hallways. Vibe, baby. It's all about the vibe. How fucked up is that? That's just stupid. I'm not your mother. Honestly, I think they shouldn't even brought Jamie Lee back except for some hospital shots, Maybe at the beginning, getting into the hospital and all that. Mike should have just continued his rampage in the town. I don't know why that would have been so hard. I mean, it would have been more of the same, but who cares? It's a fucking slasher flick. Looks great, sounds great. It's played great. Just let Mikey do what he's got to do, but no, he's got to go after his fucking sister now. He's going on tour throughout the town. He's going to go to the hospital and then maybe the drugstore and... Look at that thing. How archaic. Apparently that thing was ice cold, too. It didn't have a heater or something. I don't know. Like I do is all like, it's shriveled. I had a raisin sack. She's all nervous like it's her wedding night. Look at her. Fucking Virgin Mary, oh yeah. Are you ready, bud? Here's the grand reveal. Titties. And very nice ones. Sure, the cold water helped to not get aroused. It's just me. We're gonna turn up the power. He got the looks that kill. Turn on the juice, boy. That's the lyric. I catch your meaning. He's like, all right. I'll be right back. Boy booty. Look at it. He wipes it. There's no fucking steam on him. This is awesome. I think it should have stayed like this. Background, shadows, implied violence. Because so far, that's all it's really been. Except for a kid burning to death against a van, but... Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff we're going to see in the future stuck with me my whole life and is very nostalgic to me. Very grisly. Very grisly. But it was different, you know? It was still different. It wasn't just being stabbed and bloody and all that crap. This is a problem, though, I think. I don't think Mike would have done that. I don't. I think he would have just fucking grabbed her. He would have just grabbed her and smashed her face into the thing. And then this. She's looking at it. I mean, I know her eyes are closed now, but she'd looked at it before she did that. Ooh. Such a brutal kill. So fucking brutal. And yet the towel stays on. Must have been part of her contract. No post-mortem boobies on screen. Oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry. I'm acting like I've never seen this movie before. It's been a long time, actually. I don't watch this one too often anymore. Sometimes I'll watch the two in, concession, but this always bothered me too. I get he's going through his town, but would you really go to your school, your elementary school? No. Here we go. The obligatory. It's not really pronounced that way. It's Samhain. It's fucking Samhain. Actually. Although I'll admit I called it Sam Hain all my life until I got learned. Now, here's a lady. She aged wicked good. I'm not trying to, be that guy, but she's in like Halloween Kills and all that, in the original Halloween remake and all that. No, Halloween Kills. She's not in the original. Oh, okay, she's not in Halloween 2018. Fuck, I hate I have to say stuff like that. But she doesn't look much different, except she has a little more age on her, a little more wisdom in her eyes, Smoking in the hallway. Look at this scene. They're not in center. It's not shot, reverse shot, shot. It's a wide shot, them off center, and some fucking weirdo in the background buffing floors at midnight. Oh, he has a choice. He just has to live with the consequences thereof. Everyone seems to think you don't have a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice to be a loser. You have your whole life to do it. Once in a while, take a day off. That's how I live my life. Got about 34 minutes left. Hopefully they don't call. I really thought she was dead here when I was a kid. I was like, holy shit, did she just die? Is that the whole twist? Mike's going to get there and be unfulfilled because he didn't get to kill her? So he goes on a rampage for months. The next one's called Thanksgiving. Michael Myers gobbles up the town. This is awesome. This is where you know you're in a completely different movie. This scene right here. I always thought it was weird that they called the drunk doctor Mixer. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'm sure it's like Mr. or Meister. I don't know. But it sounds like Mixer to me. And I know people call a booze party a mixer sometimes. But this is the scene where you know, okay, we're turning the amp up a little bit. Every dad had that shirt. My dad had at least 3 of them. Which meant I had 3 of them. That exact shirt. Same colors. A little bit of green, a little bit of blues, a little bit of whites. Look at the lighting in this scene. Dean Cundy is amazing. I want Dean Cundy to film my movie. Kickstarter, starting now. It's called the Atari Creep and the fucking Curse of the Care Bear Strawberry Patches. I don't know. Amazing. Yes, I'm clapping. Although I do feel cheated that he used a syringe twice in the same room. But the way he did that, man. He made it feel like there was weight to that. Going in through the skull. And that's the definitive look to the mask for me. For me. It's funny. When it comes to like the Nightmare on Elm Street series too, I like this Part 2 glove better. It's the same glove as Part 1 in most cases. But it just has a different oxidation to the copper and, aging and all that crap. Because it aged. They made it. They filmed the movie. The one hero prop, I should say. Which was later found without the actual leather part of the glove. Because it did go missing for many, many years during the filming of Nightmare on Elm Street 2. So maybe it's just something about props and sequels, horror sequels, that I like better. Although I don't buy that mask got that dirty that quick. You gotta think this is only a couple of hours after the first movie. It's within hours. I don't know. Maybe he went rolling around the mud. I mean, he was in the dirt when he got shot, but he was on his back, right? Oh, you tell me. Creepy. Doom, doom, doom. Look at that. It's just creepier. Now, someone tell me if this was ever resolved. Did Lori fake anaphylactic shock or whatever the fuck it was that she was afflicted with? Because like, if she just wanted to get away, why didn't she just be like, "Hey, I want to get out of here"? I don't know. Maybe because she knew the nurses wouldn't let her, so she just faked I'm sick, and then when everyone disappeared, she bounced. She said, "I'm going home. I'm taking my fucking ball." Or maybe she's just delirious here. Maybe the medicine's got her tripping balls. We know she's groggy from her point of view here when she finally sees Michael taking care of that nurse later on here. Why do we need a shot like that? Because it's fucking creepy, that's why. Suspense, subtlety. Something horror doesn't know now. It's all loud noises and jump scares. Subtlety is lost on movies. Subtlety is lost on a lot of you fucks, too. If you didn't keep fucking spending money on those stupid jump scare movies, they wouldn't make them. So, wait a minute, did I say that wrong? If you didn't stop going to see them, yeah, they would just keep making them. So, stop going to see them. Let's bring this shit back. Please, let's bring back cinema. Let's bring film back. I mean, it doesn't have to actually be on film, but filmmaking. A lot of you guys think I'm a big gaming guy, and I am. I love early, like Nintendo and older. Genesis being my favorite console, so that jumps a little further, but I'm more of a film guy. My whole life I wanted to be in film. And I remember, unfortunately, I lived with parents that were loving, don't get me wrong, but they weren't very encouraging when it came to certain things. Like, there's no way in hell they would have encouraged me to pursue music or art or film. I would ask for like video cameras, and we didn't have the money for it, so I can't blame them for that. They didn't have the money. But my dad was a VP for a truck company, but he was the VP in sales, so it was like sink or swim, feast or famine. And it was just sometimes we didn't have the money. It was right around the time when we got our first Atari too. I knew at an early age, about 7 or 8, I wanted to get into film. No one encouraged it. In fact, I was scoffed at for even thinking about it. First of all, no call has ever fucking succeeded in anything. Okay, right there. Right there, you should know how I grew up. My grandmother would say we're just a bad luck family. It is what it is. I wish I'd gotten into film. I tried to get into it through prop work. I'm working with haunted attractions, and I made props for like a couple of low budget things in Arizona. There was a lot of like little mini film companies that ran around, just did their own thing, unpermitted. And I tried to get into that. I just don't know how to do that kind of stuff. I don't know how to break into things and mingle and make connections. And I'm not a social cat that way. So I'm more of a film guy than I am gaming, guys. You'll catch me watching a movie before playing games at home. I wish they would bring filmmaking back, even if it's stuff like this, I believe this deserves to exist and it should have credibility. Look at that shot. You go from the nurse down to a surveillance thing, and then you gotta see her on the. Oh man, Dean Cundy and all them. I should try to make a small flick, shouldn't I? No money request. Just do it like on my own, like a 20-minute little job. I could do it. I just don't know what I would do. I'm not good at writing. I'm good at coming up with ideas. Like, I was going to film this one sequence to try to get a job when I was in Arizona. And what I was going to do was kind of a Nosferatu kind of shadow thing. Remember when he grabbed the chick's heart with his shadow? And she, she went to die? I wanted to do that, but it was a lady in the hospital. And I think it was she was pregnant? I don't remember. But she's laying there in her little white nightgown, and I had a rig set up that was just spurt blood. And the lady would lay there. I actually had a friend that was willing to do this. She was like, I'm all about that. And she would have had to have triggered it off. And she's just laying there, and my shadow goes between her legs. Oh, look at Mikey in the background. That's what it's all about. That right there. That right there. Leave it to Friday the 13th for the gore. Nightmare on Elm Street for the filmmaking. But, because that was a showcase of up-and-comers, filmmakers who wanted to experiment. But the shadow would go between the legs and then stop right at the business end of the lower half of a woman and then squeeze as hard as it could. And right when the shadow squeezes, when the blood was going to spurt. There was no rhyme or reason to why. I just had that vision in my head. So I'm good at coming up with things like that. Major surgery. Minor surgery. Minor surgery, the knives aren't as sharp. They just use X-Acto blades. That's when you have state insurance. If you have real insurance, they put you in the other room. People pick on this. They're like, this isn't something Mikey would do. Absolutely he would. Mikey's a showman. Are you kidding me? He loves to. How would he know how to do that? Well, he knows where blood is, right? I'm sure he knows what needles are. He was in the real world and he lived in a hospital. So I don't see why that. Now, how much blood came out? You'd be surprised how much can come out of a human being. I do believe this floor would be that covered. That hurts. I know that was a fake floor. But that looks fucking painful as hell. Yeah, that looks pretty realistic to me. The blood looks like crap, but. Go ahead and ask me. Because I worked in corrections. I saw a lot of violence and death. Now, the little puddle there, is that supposed to imply that he cut the gas line? Because I know the car would start even though the tires are flat. I don't know. Michael's a prankster too, look at him. He didn't pop the ambulance tires though. He's definitely not thorough. But yeah, if we could have just cut the whole hospital theme out of it. I don't know. You know what? I can go back and forth on that. Because there's a lot of really creepy, those, oh, come on moments, But if we just saw Laurie in the beginning or whatever, and then followed Michael through his exploits of the city, I think that would have been better. New victims. But I suppose that would have just felt more samey. So I respect what they did. Oh, maybe it's the whole targeting of somebody. I know it's been said 100,000 times. The cat should have no motivation. It's just something driving him to do it, He doesn't even know. Probably doesn't even enjoy it. I don't know. Who knows? But you gotta think of it. It's like a fucking 6-year-old kid in a grown body. 8-year-old kid, whatever. And this is like his way of having fun on Halloween. I mean, he poses bodies. He's a showman again. This is a nice touch. The shoes falling. Great touch. Right here. Bum. Bum. This is where the music... I'm getting chills, guys. I'm getting fucking legit chills. This is where the music excels over the first one. Because we have long hallways. We have an actual chase sequence with Laurie and Michael. Yes, in the house of the first one, they were in the same building and everything, and they played a little bit of cat and mouse. But this is a legit chase sequence. This invokes a lot more terror than I think just whatever happened in the first one. I'm not trying to belittle the first one. The first one's iconic, and again, it's in the top 5 of all horror movies of all time. But this, to me, is scarier. I don't care how slow he's walking. I really don't. I can suspend disbelief, and I think that's another thing people have problems with today. They go to a fantasy picture expecting some kind of realism. And if you're that cat, then why the fuck do you go to the movies, right? It's a fucking movie. Shut your brain off and enjoy it. Unless it's supposed to be, intellectual piece. Or some kind of, biodrama. I don't know. Just shut your fucking brain off and enjoy the images and the sounds and the vibe. So a fucking dude has been shot 6 times, fell off a 2nd floor balcony, and he's walking around like it's no big deal. And you're going to complain about how slow he walks because he can't catch people, but he still catches them anyway? Whatever. Thank God there were empty boxes there for Laurie to fall onto. I'm not that guy that likes to pick out all the problems. Some of them are fun. Like when that stormtrooper smashed his fucking noggin on the door jam in the original Star Wars. The only one thing I will say about this is how would Michael known how to navigate this building so well? That's the only thing I could think of. Did he go through the window too? Who knows? Maybe he walked through the window. Walked through the walls. He is the shape, the boogeyman. The bogeyman. Guys, this is scary as fuck right here. This destroys anything in part 1. I don't care what you got to say. Look at that. Oh my God. Now, I was just talking about suspended disbelief. This is one of the things I can't buy of this one. His hand makes it in there. That should have opened up and she should be fucking dead. And you know what? I would have been okay with that. And then, Loomis and all them show up. And then they hunt him down. And he still gets away. And then they don't make a third one. That's how I would have done it. Look at that Volvo. I love Volvos. There are some of those boxy Volvos you can put a 302 in. A Ford V8, a small block. I've never stabbed one in one, but... Like even that Mustang. That Mustang's too clean for 1978. I know the movie's 81, but we gotta pretend this is 1978. For a Midwestern car, anyway. These cats are supposed to be in Illinois, right? That Volvo should be rusted the fuck, although we can't really see it. I've had a few heads going down that slow in my car. That orange light in the back of his vehicle flashing, I used to have a red one. And I had one of those gumballs, those tear-shaped gumballs that you plug in the cigarette lighter and put on the top of the roof. Look at the interior of that car. My mom had a Chevy that had that same sort of pattern, and that olive green. I think it was a Chevy. I'm pretty sure it was. It was whatever became the Caprice in the early 70s. I want to say they called them Bel Air still, didn't they? Did you know during the festivals of Samhain, I almost call it Samhain, is where we got a lot of our Halloween imagery from? Like bats and shit like that, because they would have bonfires, like he was just saying. And the insects would show up because of the bonfire, and all the bats would come to eat the insects because it was nighttime. So that's why a lot of those things are considered Halloweeny, creepy, you know? Pretty interesting history stuff. The darkness inside ourselves. She's like, hey, bro. There's nothing spiritual about this. No, it is fair. If a child is adopted, those files are pretty much private forever, aren't they? If I have any, adopted viewers or whatever, let me know. But I'm pretty sure you can't just have it open. I mean, I guess the governor has the power in an emergency, but I'm surprised he didn't say shot him 6 times. Loomis is a fucking gangster. Oh, that would have hurt. That would have hurt the ears. Every one of them would have been deaf for hours. That looks like a 357 or even a 38, you know? That would have been loud, especially if it was a mag. It's a great fake out. Oh, that thing looks like it's a 3 on the tree. It's a pretty big fucking shifter. Oh, excuse me. Let me ask you this. If you didn't pass out like this cat does, would you roll on just the rims to get the fuck out of there? I think I would too. Besides that steering wheel. Oops. The look on her face. You motherfucker. I guess that's one way to get a chick on your lap. Jamie Lee Curtis can fucking ride my lap like that all day long. Even if I am passed out. I won't press charges. She just has to take pictures so I can at least relive it somehow. Oh, don't scrape the ground, you fucking asshole. Things with fingernails weird me out. And they must weird out a lot of people because there's a lot of fingernail scraping imagery and horror. What do I got to lose but my job? You won't lose your job, sir. First of all, you're probably union. Secondly, you're being held at gunpoint. This is scary. Love this shit. You stay with me and shut up. Oh, the landlord left. I'm sitting next to a window. I can see him driving off. If you have any horror flicks you'd like me to watch, let me know. I'd love to do something like this more often. And I know I say that every time I do one of these. I just have to really be in a mood for a flick. I mean, I'm always in a mood to watch a movie, but I want to watch it, you know? I don't talk during movies. I kick back and I take it in. Now, even though this gag has already been done once in the basement of the hospital, this is scary. I mean, we all know that that door's not going to stop Mikey boy here. But still. She's like, okay, I'm safe now. There are peoples here, and there are guns. That was fucking awesome. I want to do that someday. I shot him 12 times! Blop. And every time I played dead, that's exactly how I did it. No joke. On my knees, and then flopped backwards. Get the fuck out of here with your authorization. This poor Marshall feels so belittled by a doctor and a nurse. And now he's about to get fucked up. Alright, so if he stopped breathing, why would you get that close to him anyway? I mean, I know law enforcement needs to check the body, but let's look at it in the context of what's going on here. Sorry, I just love this music. I want a big drum like that to go bong, bong when I'm walking down the hallway. And I will say, when I used to pretend, when we were kids and we did horror, pretending, whatever, I would more likely walk like this cat. I was nice enough to close the door. Look at that. Loomis is like, fuck, I just walked us into a death sentence. Hide in one of the sinks. He'll never go there. His hands are filthy. He'll never see you in there. Oh, they went into major surgery. They must have good insurance. He. Who's he? Pronoun game, bitch. Thank you. You know what she should have done? She just been, I'm at Memorial Hospital, Haddonfield. Everyone's dying. Get everyone over here. Again, Haddonfield Memorial. And then just hung up and went back in the hospital. Or if she was smart, she should have just got in the car and fucking left. If she knew Michael was what he is, you know what I mean? It would have been a fucked up thing to do. But you know what? I mean, at the end of the day, if the dude's the boogeyman, what are you going to do? Get the fuck out of there. I'm sure Dr. Loomis lived a good life. Lori, unfortunate. You ever try to break through one of those doors? They're fire doors. They ain't gonna break that easy. That shit looks like plywood. No, not even plywood. It looks like paneling. And there are doors like that. I know there are, so don't. I'm glad that they did that too. That makes sense that would happen, you know. Wonder what would have happened if she said, "Michael, I love you." Oh, she doesn't know. She doesn't know right now. That's right. He's like, "Wait a minute, you know me?" And she has no clue what the fuck's going on besides This cat just won't leave her alone tonight. You know what would have been really funny is if Ben Tramer didn't get killed by the van and found Michael Myers shot like down the alley or something. Maybe like a deer. You shoot a deer and they have adrenaline and they fucking run away. And sometimes you got to go after them after you shoot them. Michael did the same thing, and Ben Tramer's like, I'm gonna go kill Laurie. And it turned out that this was Ben Tramer. All right, that would have been stupid, but I don't care. I don't think Ben Tramer could have taken 2 shots in the face and 6 slugs in the chest. There's another weird cut in here, another weird edit. After he's telling her to leave, and he goes, "Get up now!" It's almost like they had they're like, we need an insert. We'll just shove him in the corner somewhere and just look all stiff. It looks weird. Like it literally was an insert. To explain to us that she needs to get out? I don't know. I keep calling this movie amazing, but it's got flaws. Every movie does, That's part of the creative process. Ether. This scene fucking weirded out my mom. My mom hated that noise of a blade cutting through the air. It would give her, like, how people hate the chalkboard scratching? Right here. Get out now. That, right there. So weird. It's like a completely different demeanor. Maybe that's what it is. It's time, Michael. And the setup for that lighter. These movies were thought out. The look on her face. I can finally light my cigarette. I'm going to go in there and light my cigarette. I always thought that was a bicycle track on the side of the wall. Those little weird chevron looking things. Go back and see what I'm talking about. And here's another thing stupid young Chris thought. Did it really blow up the hospital so bad that the floor is gone? Because it looked like dirt floor to me. It looked like a dirt ground. And that's just debris and everything, I know. But when I was a little kid, I was like, how the fuck did the floor get dirt? Why is there a dirt floor in the hallway? And it should have just ended there. Even if the anthology thing didn't work. I got Mustafa Akkad. God bless him. I mean, God rest his soul. He died in a terror attack with his daughter years ago. If you don't know. But Mustafa Akkad is the guy, he's the money behind this all starting. He put up the $320,000 for the original and this one. But, yeah, they should have just fucking left it at this. Yeah. Where are the cops, man? Get him away from her, for fuck's sake. I hate media, I really do. I fucking hate reporters. They're so intrusive, and then they'll play that, well, it's my right game. It's like this fucking lady, and this would happen too. Maybe not to this extreme, there would have been cops there, but they'll get right in people's fucking faces, and then if you fucking lash back, it's like, oh, I'm calling I'm suing. Little babies, little bitches. That kid that constantly fucks with you, and then when you finally pop him in the mouth, Like, there's a cat right now that likes to take screenshots of my personal stuff and go into a private Discord and make fun of me for it. And, whatever, you can do that, but that's like, you heard of a bottom feeder? Well, that's the kind of shit that people who eat the bottom feeders shit do. And if you lash out about it, you're the bad guy. So, I just let them live their miserable life because who the fuck does things like that? That's so fucking lame. Do you really care about me that much? But yeah, alright. The phone call never came. That's awesome. Hopefully it'll come pretty soon, but that was Halloween 2, the original, 1981. And I can't say it enough. I love this one. Almost more than the first one. As far as a nostalgic piece, as far as something to view. I do believe that the original is a better constructed film. It's a better picture altogether. But I'll put this on before that one any day because of my nostalgia for it. And again, 2 and 3 were the only ones that they really pushed. You know? So, there you go. Guys, I hope this was fun. I hope I wasn't too, stupid here. A lot of times when I speak in the moment, I misspeak. And that's common with whatever. And sometimes I say things that are a little silly and maybe not quite right, but it's because I'm not thinking in the moment. But that was Halloween 2. Rick Rosenthal's introduction into the series. I guess that's all he ever really did. But, right there. That was dumb. Guys, thank you always so much for watching. I can't say that enough. I really can't. I hope you all had a wonderful and safe Halloween. And until next time, take care. Creep it real. And bye-bye. Now I'm going to listen to Enter Sandman. I almost did it again. Mr. Sandman. And I'm going to make more coffee. Bye-bye.